What's going on, guys? We're doing another podcast here. Today I am with Mandy Boandl of Amanda Joy Fashion, and she has been a good friend of mine for a very long time. And she is a fashion designer and illustrator and has transitioned into bridal gown work. So, welcome to the show, Mandy.
Hi, thanks.
So how did you, first off, just a little backstory, how did you get into fashion and then how did you transition into wedding dresses and bridal gowns?
Well, I was always listening to music when I was in middle school. I couldn't separate myself from my iPod. And while listening to music, I would always be visualizing what that singer would be wearing. So I just started to draw all the time what I would see them wearing, what kind of outfits. And it just kind of evolved throughout high school. We had courses in fashion illustration and in clothing construction. So I continued my passion there and realized I really like evening wear because it's full of details and all kinds of, yeah, it's full of details. And so then I realized, the bridal industry, that's evening wear that applies to everyone versus couture, which a small population would wear. So I felt bridal, that's more relevant. It'll help more people in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone gets married. Or most people get married.
Sometimes once, sometimes twice.
That's right. I know I'm not in the repeat business. I hope I'm not in the repeat business.
There you go.
Which is counterintuitive for business, but ethically and morally, my goal is to not have repeat customers.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the same goes for you.
Absolutely.
Referrals, yes. Repeats, not so much.
Exactly. Those second weddings are fun. They get a little non-traditional with it, so.
Oh, second weddings, people do not care as much. Like, they're just very laid back. Like, yeah, I want to get married.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it.
cool. Zero stress or very little stress. Yeah, second weddings are fun. So you are currently working at a bridal shop in Reading,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Okay. And what is the name of the shop?
Victorian Bridal Salon.
Okay. And what do you what do you do there? But then what is your goal, and I guess what is most enjoyable about working at the shop?
Sure. So I wear a few hats at the bridal shop. I sell dresses, which is wonderful. And then I also help with alterations due to my sewing skills that I learned throughout high school and college. So I get to have, different jobs every single day. And I kind of like that about the job. It's never boring. One of my favorite parts is when we have a bride who wants just a little something custom to their wedding dress. Not anything too crazy because then we're practically recreating the whole dress. But say if she wants a neckline a little higher, we'll go through our lace trims and try to find something that matches the dress. And what I love is I'm designing, but I'm also helping someone. So it kind of checks off both those boxes of satisfaction for me. So that's kind of my favorite part. And my overall goal, I'd say, working with brides firsthand, I get to know what the customers like, what's sellable, versus what just looks nice but no one is comfortable wearing. So that is very helpful for me towards my designing goals because I want to make stuff that people feel great in, feel confident in, and comfortable all at the same time.
It may seem like a no duh, you want to wear something that makes you happy, but it actually makes a huge difference because you're typically not there on a wedding day when the bride is getting in the dress. That's where I come in, and it's crazy to see a bride's mood change. And not like go from angry to happy or vice versa, but like she's like pretty happy, she's getting ready, she's doing hair and makeup, she's with her girls and stuff. But then once she gets into the dress, that's when it's like, oh, I'm getting married today. And seriously, when the bride has a good dress and she gets in it and her mom and her bridesmaids and whoever else they're just like, oh my God. Yeah. It is a huge difference. And they just light up, which is great for me because it turns into better video and better photos for the photographer. But it is crazy. Being a guy, I don't get as into fashion and clothes, just personal preference, but I can certainly appreciate how just game changing it is, especially for a bride on her wedding day.
Yeah, I'd say. I feel like
It's a confidence booster.
absolutely. I feel like any day a woman's wearing a really good outfit, she just says a better day in general.
Better day.
It just affects the overall. It gives
I
you more
understand that.
confidence for some reason. It's interesting.
I certainly don't feel like on top of the world when I'm rocking gray sweatpants and and a gray sweatshirt, just lounging around. I don't feel like,
So
yeah, I
comfy,
look good.
But the goal is to design something that looks so beautiful but feels as comfortable as the
That's
sweats.
true. That's true.
That is the
Sweatpants, there's no matching the comfort level of sweatpants.
I'm with you.
Editing days, I will solely rock sweatpants.
Fantastic.
I'm like, no one, look at me. I'm not going in, or I'm not going out anywhere. I'm just editing away in my sweatpants
I
and
don't
don't
blame
care. Because productivity is through the roof, and so is comfort.
Exactly.
So, what is your favorite aspect of, or what's your favorite type of wedding dress out of like the popular styles? What would you say is your favorite?
All right. Well, so there's so much lace going on lately. That's the big trend. Everyone's going rustic in the barns, and they want to have a nice either bohemian or like antique look to their wedding dress. So lace kind of satisfies that. So I see that a lot. However, what really gets me excited is when you see lace on lace, which I'll explain.
Okay.
Picture an all lace dress, and then at the waist seam, skirt down, it's just tulle over top the lace, but that tulle has little lace appliques hand sewn just in certain parts. So through the see-through fabric, you see some different texture lace, and then you got something on top. It creates a lot of texture and like a 3D look. It's just really interesting, you know? It's a little more different.
I mean, I'm trying my best to visualize it.
Yeah.
Out of the hundreds of
I'll
wedding
try.
dresses I've seen, I'm still trying to visualize like lace and whatnot. But like I like the idea of like the 3D aspect because it makes a dress more full. Is that?
It can. It's just, I mean, I love every silhouette, even your classic, basic, like satin sweetheart ball gown that you kind of think of when you think of bridal. But yeah, just seeing the different fabrics play together, that's just really interesting to me. We're actually starting to carry some full big skirts in lace too. Mostly the really fitted or like the sheath dresses, something really narrow, or the fit and flares. They tend to be lace a lot. But we've had people coming in and they want something with lace sleeves and then a big skirt, and you don't see that as often, so we're trying to get more of that in our shop, but because that's a little different, a full big lace skirt. So you see that now and then, but usually lace tends to be in something more fitted, yeah.
Okay.
I'd say.
No, and that's interesting. I genuinely don't know, and I mean, when it comes down to it, regardless of what type of dress it is, I'm gonna film it. It's for the bride. And going back to my point before, is like when the bride has a good wedding dress, like she just loves it, and like it just fits. And I mean that's credit to a good bridal shop, of course.
Touche.
Like just having that emotion and that excitement translate into the photo and video is huge for me. Color of dress. I have noticed that a lot of brides are going off-white. They're not going directly white because of the way it could potentially make their skin look slightly paler. Is that correct?
You're right on the dot. Yep.
Which I'm okay with. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference, but I'm okay with not pure white because pure white is easier to overexpose. Meaning, like if a bride's near a window or any like direct light hits her, pure white is going to get blown out quicker and easier because it's brighter. Pure white is pure white.
It's bright as snow.
So as soon as a little bit of sunlight hits it, it's boom. Yeah. It's blown out, and some of that detail, some of that lace could be blown out on the video. So having a slightly off-white, I mean, it
one knows.
makes right. Oh, that's too, yeah. as long as it's, relatively white, it's a white dress.
Not brown.
Right.
No, I hear you. I can't tell you how many times people keep going around our shop pointing at ivory dresses. So this one's white? And I'm like, nope, that's still ivory. I show them the tag and everything because it's incredible. When you have an ivory dress next to a white dress, you definitely see a difference. Mm-hmm. But when your ivory dress is up against your skin tone, you're not bright white, so it looks very bright white in comparison. Ivory still appears white.
So your personal pick between ivory or pure white?
Oh, ivory.
Ivory.
White really tends to wash people out, and good to know about the camera thing. I want all the detail to be shown in my wedding dress, so definitely ivory. Though I am also liking, we have some dresses that have the ivory lace, and underneath it is like a light gold or a champagne.
Oh, okay.
So that's also going along with that antique rustic vibe. So if people don't go towards ivory, their next route tends to be champagne or sometimes even blush, or like they call it nude, but it's all kinds of skin tones. They have all kinds of crazy names. There's almond, oyster, eggshell,
oyster,
alabaster.
I mean, I think of eating oysters, not the color.
It's been
Put a little horseradish on. It's delicious.
Should have it.
So with the rustic barn weddings, that's coming into style very much so as of the past few years, incorporating more lace style dresses, and so a wedding dress is a very artfully crafted gown, a lot of detail, a lot of time, a lot of material has been put into it, and a bride will, of course, they purchase them, but then they bring them to their barn, which not all barns are the cleanest in the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's out of your hands, of course, by that point, but how many brides want like the full gown for a rustic barn wedding versus how many brides do you find want maybe like a shorter dress, not like a cocktail dress, but
I'm with you. Less of a train.
Right, a small
yeah.
train. Do you find that there's like a correlation with the barn brides, like, or do you think, or have you found brides that just want like this massive gown and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to the barn, and you just know that by the end of the day that dress is going to be muddy?
Oh, well, I try not to think about the dirty part.
Which it does happen.
But
it does happen.
But yeah, we have so many brides who they come in, they might not know what silhouette they want, but they do know, they're like, I don't want a long train. Mm-hmm. And we're always reminding them, we could hem that whole train off for you. Now, for certain styles of dresses, sometimes cutting that train in half just to make it floor length all around might not look the best. Mm-hmm. It's sad too. But other dresses, the way the skirt is built, it can look natural. But yeah, we've had so many brides like say, oh, this is way too heavy to move around in all day, or, oh, I don't want a long train because then it's just dragging around. So that tends to be actually a very common concern of brides. That's like the one thing that is on their wish list over other things sometimes.
Practicality.
Exactly. And the weight of it.
Which is good because I mean, just picking up some of the dresses, I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah, it's my arm day.
Yeah.
It is.
Seriously, some of them are actually like heavier than my tripod. My all metal tripod. I'm like, oh, you walk around in this all day?
It's good times. Yeah. And the
Kudos
more the
to you.
beating on it.
Right. Well, sure. All that weight adds up.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, brides are always looking for something they could dance in and sit in. So that's when spandex comes in, because there's some really gorgeous dresses out there that are just really fitted and like really look good. But the girls are like, this would be great for a photo shoot, but all day, I'm not sure about that. And the key is comfort, because if you're not comfortable, you probably won't be smiling, and it'll show. And you just want to be comfortable and not worry about your dress ripping or just being uncomfortable on your wedding day.
Yeah. So comfort, practicality, those are huge things when considering a wedding dress. How is the bustle process? Like, are there dresses that are easier to bustle than others, or are they, oh, that's a yes. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Please explain, because I've seen like a bride go like, oh yeah, I'll be right back, I'm going to get bustled. It's like, okay, cool. And then it's a half hour later. I'm like, what are you doing? Still getting bustled? Oh.
Maybe their seamstress didn't give them a little roadmap or a tutorial when they picked their dress up, so they were like, that was their first time. We try to avoid that by showing them how it's done once we have it all finished. Yeah, bustles. Okay. Every dress is designed differently. Some have more of a narrow train, some have a short train versus long, others like really bell out. And then you got all kinds of different fabrics. Some will just be like one satin layer in the skirt, others will have the lining and then various tulle layers. So it could get kind of messy. And we've had some dresses, some beautiful, easy ones. It's just one bustle point. You got one button and one loop. Boom, done. Easy to navigate. Then you get the ones that's 3. So the center one is a little higher and the other 2 are like lower little mountain peaks. And that's nice. You got to just put them up there, same amount of buttons and loops. And then you just kind of have that center one fold over top. It's almost like origami with fabric. Then it gets real crazy. Sometimes just to get everything off the floor evenly. I mean, I've made one before. I think it was 5 buttons and 9 loops. So you had the one in the center going to the center, and then if my math is correct, then I think you were doing like 2 for all the other side ones. It was just crazy. So it sometimes becomes crazy, and you can have them all next to each other, or we've even had some, the train is so long, we've done one bustle, and then right up that same center seam, you got another baby peak, so it's just like all in the same. It's, maybe you're a visual person, it's tough to imagine, but it's crazy.
I believe it, and I mean, from the amount of time that it takes some brides to get bustled, it's tough, and I mean, typically the people that are bustling the bride are mom, maid of honor, sister, who like,
yeah,
they're not trained professionals. Like, if you're there, no problem. Boop, 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 you're done.
Well, we also make those bustle loops super tight.
So they don't loosen, or?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
we don't want that dress to like, because they do stretch a smidge over time, that loop. So we don't want the dress to start dragging and then someone steps on it, God forbid. And what I just explained, that was only the English bustle. There's also the French bustle, which is when the fabric goes underneath and it has like that bubbly look. I'm not sure what you've seen before, probably both.
I'm sure, yeah.
So that one is like a crazy thing where underneath the fabric, there's little plastic rings and then there's ribbon. So you have to take it under and tie it to the ribbon, and it's just, it gets crazy. We try to color coordinate it at Victorian Bridal if it's all under the dress so that they could put pink to pink and blue to blue, and it hopefully is easier. But it's crazy. Those are my favorite.
I say this all the time, especially to all the grooms that I meet with, when talking about like preps and getting into the dress and getting into your tux and all. I say this to grooms all the time. I am very happy to be a guy. like you guys go through so much, or you girls rather. There's just so much that goes into a wedding dress,
Yeah.
and I'm just so appreciative that I personally don't have to go through it, because it's just not one of my priorities. But I understand my sister's so excited to get into her wedding dress, and
Yay.
when she picked it out, like, I mean, I wasn't there when she said yes to the dress, but she just said like she wasn't expecting the style to like jump out at her. Like, she had this style in mind, this style in mind, this style in mind, and then they brought out another dress, and they're like, I think this would look good on you, and she's like, I don't think so. Tried it on, fell in love with it.
I love it.
And it's like, that's crazy. And the fact that like she just lit up. Like, she came home that day on cloud 9, just so excited that she said yes to the dress, and like it was not what she was expecting.
That's the crazy thing. So many people will come in and they'll say, definitely not such and such style. And I'm like, well, have you had it on yet? Because then we'll nix it if you've had it on. But you never know. You see everyone with social media being so popular, like everyone's on Pinterest especially, like looking through all the different styles. They see something on a really tall model and they're like, that looks gorgeous. And I'm sure they're right. They're photoshopped to look amazing. And I mean, they're really tall people, so naturally the dresses, they fit in length. But then trying that style on your body type or your height, it looks totally different. Or even with sleeves. Sleeves are so popular lately. But when they see them in magazines and online, they've been photoshopped. All the little wrinkles in the sleeves are probably non-existent. They put that on in the shop and they're like, oh, it looks like there's wrinkles and stuff and baggy skin.
I just finished a stylized shoot, and it was a wonderful, wonderful shoot. We were borrowed a dress from a bridal shop down in Philadelphia, and the model was, she was great, she was beautiful, but the dress did not fit. And, we wanted the photos and the video to look as nice as possible, of course, because it's a very planned, stylized shoot. So literally, we clamped, the stylist clamped clamps to the back to bring the fabric, fitting. She was pinning the sleeves to make sure no wrinkles are in the sleeves, because ultimately, you want to eliminate as much Photoshop as possible, because Photoshop is never going to look as natural as doing it, there. Like you can't, you can do your best at Photoshop, but it's going to be a lot more time. It's going to take a lot more time, not cost effective. It's just so much easier to fix it from the get-go. But Pinterest is such a heavy influence on a lot of people with multiple different things, 'cause everything's on Pinterest. But weddings especially, Pinterest is such a heavy influencer on all different aspects, whether it's centerpieces, photography, dresses, type of location, if you want a barn wedding versus a country club. Like, there's so much to choose from on Pinterest, or so many ideas to get from Pinterest, which is great. But exactly what you said. They see it on someone else's body, and they go, "Oh, that looks great," or "Oh, that wouldn't work for me." Then they get into the bridal shop, and it's like, if it's not on your body, you can't make a decision.
Absolutely. And it's not every day you're shopping in a wedding dress. It's kind of uncharted waters. So you really got to try everything. You truly never know. And it definitely is fun. At our shop, it's a little different from Say Yes to the Dress. You always watch people just go in their fitting room and they just await all the dresses to arrive.
Oh, sure.
But we give them a hands-on experience at Victorian Bridal. We say, anything that pops out at you, try, because there's something you like about it. There's something that's drawn you to it. You never know. And sometimes they've pulled out their very own wedding dress, which is always fun. But other times, they have no idea what silhouette they want, so we try to pull in a little bit of everything, all kinds of different necklines, all kinds of skirts. And then once we start to see what they're leaning towards, then we use our knowledge of our inventory, and we're like, if you like that, let me show you this, and then it really goes from there. It's good.
Yeah. What is the name of the bridal shop that is on Say Yes to the Dress?
Kleinfeld's.
Kleinfeld's. I just booked a bride who's going to Kleinfeld's.
Oh, God bless. That's exciting.
She's so excited.
Oh.
She's not going to be on TV by any means, but she's so excited to go to Kleinfeld's, and I'm like, that's awesome. I think I've watched Say Yes to the Dress maybe like twice in my life, because I was sitting watching TV with my sister, but I'm not their target audience, clearly.
Dang it.
But it is exciting, and although fashion is not my number one priority, I very much appreciate and understand how much fun and joy and happiness comes into picking like your perfect wedding dress for your once in a lifetime day. It's awesome. Hopefully, that's right.
Back to that.
That's right.
It was so bad. I'm sorry.
No repeat customers, hopefully. Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast, Mandy. Very much appreciate it. And, this is definitely a more different perspective than what people are used to listening to me talk about. I'm always talking about, tips to make your wedding better. And it mainly has to do with photography and video and stuff, because that's, I team up with so many photographers, and I do video, so it's primarily tips about that. So getting a new perspective on a new topic that I am not very well versed in is very valuable, and I've learned a lot.
Yay. Well,
So-
thank you for having me.
Thank you. If you guys want to check out Mandy's work, go check her website out, amandajoyfashion.com, and you're as well on Facebook and Instagram at amandajoyfashion. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.
I didn't want to like finish that awesome sentence with thank you, because who wants that on that? That was beautiful. Oh, those are fun.
That was
I wish we
fun.
had more topics. I mean, we could get into bridesmaids another day,
We could do. We
or
could do
mother's
another-
dresses another day,
We could do another podcast. Yeah,
if you want, because
we can.
that's fun.
We certainly can.